Good evening, everyone. Today I'll be discussing a project called Liquid Pipe. This project was created at Sofront Networks LLC by me. My name is Beijing Desai. And yes, let's just go ahead and get on into it. So this project was created in response to a proposal that we were creating. Basically, we are creating a pipeline that receives JSON arrays and then dispatches that array into individual JSON objects. And then those objects are then validated against the set of validation rules that were provided, as well as transformed into a specific JSON schema, which is provided, and then validated again after that transformation against a set of business rules. And then all of these transformed objects and the errors and warnings that were associated while conducting this pipeline are inserted into a database. So our project is based off of Azure. We use a lot of Azure technologies and solutions like the Azure Logic Apps. The application insights are very valuable. The storage was also very good. And then the Azure Storage Queues, which is what we use to hold all the error messages and the transformed JSON objects. And then we also used Azure Functions to conduct much of the work that was going on during the pipeline. So this project, it was tested using Postman, and it was edited and created and written using VS Code. We'll go ahead and start this. By the end of this video, we should see a count of the messages that were stored in the queue. But let's just go ahead and get into it. One of the main aspects that was used throughout this was Liquid. So Liquid is a templating language, and we use that templating language to transform the JSON and validate it, and according to the business rules and the validation rules, and then all of that was sent into a queue using this Azure function. We'll look at the workflow now of this logic app. So basically, it works off an HTTP trigger where that blob is then retrieved from storage and then processed and then sent to the validation transformation, which carries out the bulk of the work. And then, yes, we should be able to go to our storage queue and then go to our queues. And then once it's finished, we should be able to query them and search them and see what the error messages and the final transformed objects look like. So basically, I decided to separate this step originally, retrieve the file from the storage container, debatch, and send them to a queue, retrieve the messages from a queue in the loop until all messages had been validated. And if it was correct, it was sent and transformed and then validated against business rules. And if that worked, then it was sent to a final queue where the user or the customer would be able to go and search for those books, basically, or the objects, actually. But the main problem with this was that it was very time consuming. Running 3 Azure functions within a for loop and an until loop wasn't the best solution. It wasn't very efficient, so it didn't really help. Decided to condense it into one function that was run asynchronously. If you look right here, we do use the async IO, and everything is awaited and gathered using async IO. So we wanted to keep that asynchronous, so we save time. But the problem, another problem that was raised actually, is the performance of the Azure Logic apps. So when running the Logic app itself, it would time out because of the amount of messages that were being piped through the Azure function and the Logic app itself. I think Azure, the basic free plan has limits installed. So Pipe only works on VS Code when I'm running it locally. I have thought about another solution that involves using Azure Durable Functions, but it is still a work in progress. So that may be discussed at a future, actually at a later date. But for now, uh, it runs using Azure. So the data here in Postman is actually formatted using how the Logic apps would format it. And yeah, wow, look at that. So approximately 9,998 messages were sent through, and it took about 4 minutes, which is not too bad. Could be better. That is also something that needs to be improved on. But basically, these are the counts. You add the success validation and the fail validation to get the total amount of objects, and the fail business and the success business should add up to the success validation. So we can see that it does add up. Let me just do the quick math right there. So as you can see, it works. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Yeah, goodbye.